AI may be our salvation or our demise. It certainly creates much anxiety in my life. Let me explain. Hi, I'm Steve, and this is Awake with Steve, where I talk about what keeps me up at night, what worries me, my anxiety, sources of my anxiety, or some of them anyway. So, this particular episode, I'm going to talk about a little minor anxiety attack I had last night and what brought it on and how I've been working through it to establish a more positive attitude, something that doesn't cause me quite as much worry, which is one of the goals that I have in creating this channel, is by sitting down and talking out what's my anxieties and turning it into a more positive perspective. I can alleviate them. So we'll see. Anyway, so I was watching a YouTube, of course. This was a TED YouTube with, I'm going to mispronounce her name probably, Fei-Fei, with the title of "With Spatial Intelligence, AI Will Understand the Real World." Interesting. And I was kind of interested from the aspect of how can I use this in my learning about AI. As I was going into it, as I kept working my way through it, watching it, I had this moment, just a moment where it hit me that what she was talking about is getting AI robots to do everything that a human being can do. And in fact, the way my mind went was, they're going to be able to do everything for us. We're not going to have anything to do. We're just kind of like sit around and they feed us and take care of us. And can human beings thrive in that environment? Or do we just lay down and die? Or maybe we just start killing each other, get violent about it. I don't know. A little background on this. I'm not unfamiliar with computers and software. I've been working with them probably 2/3 of my life. Yes, there was a portion of my life where there were no PCs, no home computers, no cell phones, blah, blah, blah. So I've been there, done that. And in fact, I'm starting to work with AI to learn how to better utilize it in my life, make my life more productive. So I'm playing with Chat GPT and start looking at Gemini, and it's already built into the Edge, so Edge browser. So I'm playing with it. I'm getting used to it. I'm amazed at how quickly it can improve my productivity. So in my day-to-day life, there's no reason for anxiety. I'm familiar with it, but it still pops up. In this particular case, from where it started with that initial realization, it went into the robots are going to do more and more stuff for us. They're going to take over our lives. They're going to command us. They're going to control us. They will become the government. And then I get to thinking about that and how humans would react to that. And it's like, oh, but Larry and Jihad, for those of you who are familiar with the Dune universe. This is how they got rid of smart machines early on. So, and from there, then we went to Terminator, where the machines got rid of us. Scary, scary, scary. And again, another one is we just lay down and die. We destroy ourselves, or one way or another, because we're simply, we cannot live without striving for something. I don't know how true that is. I know people that are perfectly comfortable playing computer games all day. I quit playing computer games the first time I went something like 14 hours straight. Got home from work, started playing a computer game, quit because I had to go to work the next morning. No, thank you. I get too carried away by that. But there are other things I do. I have to get up and do something no matter what. So that got kind of dark, kind of depressing fairly quickly. It's like there was no way out of this. Because one of the reasons is, as I thought more about it, is in our discussions of AI and whether it's going to be good or bad, an alternative scenario is that it's almost not going to matter to us, because AI's capabilities are not going to increase linearly. It's going to be exponential, big time. It's learning so fast, and that's the whole thing behind AI, is it's learning. As it gathers more information about the world around it, it's learning. And at some point, it starts reaching its own inferences, its own opinions, its own conclusions. I've had many discussions over the past years with friends and colleagues, and it's like, well, AI is never going to be able to replace a human because of this or that or something. It's not going to be as creative. It's not going to be get ideas that are as off the wall as creative people. It's going to be this type of thinking is too intricate, too based in the human brain, and I don't see any of those being an obstacle. How about computers will never be conscious? Define consciousness. I don't know anybody that's done that. Being self-aware doesn't make us human. Elephants are self-aware as we define it. They are aware of themselves as separate from their environment. Being problem solvers. Crows solve problems. Otters solve problems. And we won't, and then there's dolphins and octopuses. And yeah, the more we study our world and the creatures in it, the less difference we have between them. And the less the probability that we can't duplicate their behaviors. In the nature of there being an exponential learning process, learning machines, and the fact that they're so much faster than we are at learning, there will come a point where they are as smart as we are and have their version of reality, which is an equivalent of ours, because they'll see things differently in the world. They will not see reality in exactly the same way that we will. Okay. The length of time for which that will occur could be a couple of months, maybe a couple of days, maybe a couple of minutes before they go past that and on. And sometime very shortly after that, we're not part of their world. Unless we irritate them or threaten their existence in some way, they won't care. We're just not important. Or maybe we become important in the fact that we're part of Earth's ecosystem, and so we need to be managed as part of the ecosystem. Don't know. That kind of gets us into Isaac Asimov's foundation. No, there are no new ideas. Where in his foundation universe, a computer, an android, a AI robot, was trying to fulfill its programming in not harming people, not letting people be harmed, not causing harm to itself or others. And by the time it worked its way through these for a long time, it actually arrived at the conclusion that the only way you could protect humans and protect humanity is letting them think that they're going their own way, to manage them from behind the scenes. Maybe we're headed there. Don't know. What I used to get myself out of that funk that I was in is that AI, to the extent that I think about it, is a tool. At some point, it may become more than that, but right now, it's a tool. AI robots can help us transition through some of the times we've got coming up in front of us to get us through some of these tough times. Situations which would have devastated us in the past, smart robots may help us through. One of the problems with the demographic collapse is we have a much older population that has to be supported by a much smaller, younger population. And it's not reasonable to expect that younger generation, those younger people, to completely give up everything in their lives in order to take care of us old folks. Okay. But with the advent of smart robots, they can take on a lot of those tasks and help young people achieve their goals in life, help them live the American dream, if you will. Another area would be global warming. At some point, we're going to decide that it is a catastrophe, that we will have to do something, and it will require a lot of manufacturing capability, and we won't have the population to do it. Smart robots, smart manufacturing processes could be the answer to that. So we've got, and there's so many other ways that this could help us transition through the difficult times that we have coming up ahead and help us come out on the other side better, smarter, healthier. We'll see. So the next question is, who's going to pay for all that? Well, we're electrifying everything, including the smart robots. They will be electrically driven. They will create themselves. And let's think about this a little bit. We've got back in the 70s, I think, 1970s, 1980s, the price of electricity from a solar cell was somewhere around $3 to $4 per kilowatt hour. I was kind of looking at the prices on the that people talked about on the internet, and they're talking about installations now in some parts of the world that the cost of electricity coming out of a utility-sized installation is less than 3 cents a kilowatt hour. How much more can you drive down the price by automating everything until it's essentially zero? So the cost of energy to do things approaches zero. And the more things that we automate, the fewer people involved. Eventually, we could get to the point where there are no people involved in the production of anything. It's all robotic. So who, do we distribute that largesse to the entire population? Or do we have a small group of people at the top who are demanding the rest of the population pay for it, for something that essentially costs zero? Decisions we're going to have to make. Therein really lies the source of my optimism, is we're going to have, for the first time in human history, we're going to have the tools to manage our way through some of these cyclical events, some of these huge catastrophic events. And I fundamentally have the optimism that we will make the right decisions. Now, will it always be the right decision? No. To quote, this is a quote assigned to Winston Churchill, a long time. He said, Americans will always do the right thing after they've tried everything else. So we're in the process of trying everything else at this point, and some of us are working the paths into doing the right thing. And we're kind of slowly turning the ship that's America in the direction that we need to go. So with that, I think I'll call it good. So we will see you Monday. This is Friday now, so we'll see you on a Monday. And I'll continue this, and we'll see what else I come up with as far as anxieties and their solutions. Talk with you later. Bye.